So I found this really nice summary. It summarizes like the good and evil of in Buddhism. So it says Mara. Mara is like the Satan. Mara is like the devil in Buddhism. So Mara is the stains of disposition of the samsaric mind of beings. Buddha is the mind free from the disposition of the samsaric mind. So that's a perfect description because it like separates if you're going to separate good and evil through your pragya wisdom, which is the initial step before you dissolve it. You have to actually separate it first before you dissolve it so you know what you're dissolving. So with the Mara is described as the stains of disposition. Disposition is like your tendency when you have different tendencies, or say, for example, the Mara or the demons, they can exploit your tendency. So, say if you have a tendency towards addiction, if you have a tendency towards shopping, consumerism, anything that you could be trained into, you could be programmed into. So they will keep trying that with you. So Mara works on that. So Mara tries to stain you with your own tendency. So the Mara is called the stain of disposition. So disposition, your disposition is your tendency. What are you easily going to take to, or what are you likely going to take into? Can I program her into alcohol? Can I program her into smoking? Can I program her into consumerism? Can I program her into sex? Can I program her into greed? So they will actually try to stain your mind. So Mara is that. The quality of Mara, he will take your weakness, or he will take what you love the most and use that to stain your mind. So that's the essence of Mara. So over here is described as Mara is the stains of disposition of the samsaric mind of beings. So in the samsaric world, what are you going to take to? Mara will actually come in and start trying to program you into that. So that's why you have the mind control. And Mara does the mind control. He tries to program you into consumerism, program you into sex, programming you into entertainment, into whether it's playing video games, whether it is watching too many movies, listening to too many songs, reading too many books, fictional books. So, all of these are stains of disposition. Your tendencies have been exploited by Mara. So, they stain your mind through mind control. And that's what mind control is. MK Ultra Mind Control. It's a real CIA program. And then you have Buddha is the mind free from the disposition of the samsaric mind. So Buddha is free from those stains, free from tendencies, free from disposition of the samsaric mind. So which is the mind, dualistic mind, mind of this world. So the Buddha is free from all of those stains. So the Buddha doesn't care about whether it's something looks good or something looks ugly. So the Buddha doesn't really care about something that is very tempting and looks very attractive. Something that will make you addicted to something, or that will hold you in this samsaric system, and that will hold you into this samsaric world. So in Buddhism is described as habitual tendency. Can Mara exploit your habits? Can Mara exploit your habitual tendency? But the Buddha is free from that habitual tendency. Buddha is free from that tendency or that disposition. The Buddhic mind is free from that. So here, Buddha doesn't mean Lord Buddha Shakyamuni. It means our mind. So Buddha or Buddhi in Nepalese means mind. Buddhi translates to mind. So the mind of the Buddha or the Buddha mind is free from the stains of tendencies, free from the stains of dispositions of the samsaric mind. So anything that samsara teaches you, it's free from that. So they cannot program you into the samsaric system. It's free from the samsaric disposition. What the samsara is teaching you, what this dualistic reality, what this modern world is teaching you, the Buddha mind is free from that. But the Mara, Satan mind, is filled with programs of the samsaric world. They're filled with addiction, they're filled with programs, they're filled with ignorance, they're filled with all the programming of this world. So that's what the Mara, that's what the Satan mind control is about. So we are filled with programs. That's why in spirituality they call it deprogramming. So that's what it means, like you have to deprogram from this world, or drop the veils so you can deprogram. So Buddhism is basically like deprogramming. It's like deprogram and free yourself from the stain, free yourself from all the programs, psychological programming that we have been a part of. For example, have a shower every day. That's a program, that's a stain of Mara. When you have a shower every day, that's idol worship. You're not clean just because you have a shower every day, because you have to do it correctly. You're actually like using a lot of chemicals and polluting your body. So that's the opposite effect of what having a shower is. So that's the stain of Mara. That Mara is staining your mind to making you believe in something that is false. And that is like part of your programming. And that any kind of shame programming, so, oh, you're not having a shower, you're a dirty, filthy person. Shame programming comes from Mara. Because spirituality, people don't teach spirituality with shame. Spirituality, people teach it to help other people. Teach it to wake people up. Wake up or you will go to hell. Or that's coming from the demons, you know. It's trying to help people wake up into their spiritual identity. So that's what spirituality is about, empowering others, giving people knowledge, giving people the truth, giving people wisdom. That's what spirituality is. And that's giving people freedom. But with the Mara, they use shame. They're like, oh, you're an uneducated, illiterate fool, or you're a dirty, filthy white person that doesn't have a shower every day. They use shame to program you. So they don't use empowerment. They're not giving you empowerment. They're not giving you power. They're not giving you strength. They're not giving you wisdom. They're using shame. So you'll see a lot of that shaming. I see a lot of the traditional Nepalese people, they have that Mara stain of shame. They're like, oh, we're primitive, we have to be modern, you know, and they'll start doing different modern things to modernize their lives. So that's the Mara stain. So Mara uses shame. So they use shame a lot. It's like, oh, why are you wearing that fashion? Or why are you wearing that color clothes? It's like, this color is like it's the 70s or something. So they'll always use shame, and that's the stain. So anything that you're following trends or following fads, those are all stains of Mara. Those are programs. But the Buddha mind is free from that stain. The Buddha mind does not have that samsaric mind disposition. It is not positioned within the samsaric mind. It is not positioned within the shame model, but it is positioned within the spiritual model. So it is not stained by Mara. So the Buddha mind cannot be stained, because we cannot be programmed. Our tendencies cannot be exploited, because we are awakened to different levels of ourselves to understand how Mara is actually trying to stain your mind. And anything that they get you into, like if you love playing video games, you're always playing video games, that's actually programming. That's Mara staining your mind. Your exploitation turns into an addiction. Or if you drink coffee, if you drink like 3-4 cups of coffee a day and you cannot live without coffee, or you have to have a smoke, or you have to watch the news all the time. It's like, oh, what's happening to our world, and you have to go watch the news. That's a stain of Mara. And you worry about money. It's like, oh, money, I don't have money, or I have to pay the electricity bill. So these are all stains of Mara, of the samsaric mind. So the samsaric mind lives in paranoia. And so the Satan stains your mind in that way. But the Buddha mind is free from those stains. They live in the moment. They don't live a paranoid life. And they do not live in fear. They live in freedom. And they live in empowering others. And they are giving teachings, they're giving knowledge, they're giving disclosure, they're telling the truth, they're trying to wake people up. And that's what the Buddha mind does, because they themselves are free. and they're now stepping in to free other people from the stain of Mara. If you want to understand Buddhism in a sentence, you can say the Buddha mind is free of the stains of this world. So it cannot be programmed into this world. So it's free of this world. That's what it is. And that's also like sunyata, because sunyata is zero. So the number of sunyata is zero. Sunyata means emptiness. Sunyata means zero. And all the Buddhas learn sunyata. And sunyata gives you that free mind because sunyata is zero. It doesn't buy into anything positive and it doesn't buy into anything negative. So it cannot be programmed with positive or negative. It cannot be bought with fame, or it cannot be suppressed with shame. You cannot give a Buddha titles and entice it, or you cannot suppress or kill off a Buddha, for example. So none of those things affect the Buddhic mind. None of those things affect that Buddha mind, and the Buddha mind operates on zero. It operates on sunyata. It operates on pragyaparamita, which is sunyata. And that's what the Buddha mind operates on. That's how you can describe Buddhism in a sentence. It's like it's free of the stains of this world because it operates in sunyata, zero. So there are a lot of people online, like the Hebrews or the Christians, they're like, oh, Buddhism is this, Buddhism is that. Buddhism is vast. Buddhism is extensive. It is vast. But if you want to understand Buddhism directly in terms of the jhana, in terms of the direct knowing, in terms of knowledge and not wisdom, if you want to understand Buddhism in terms of knowledge, it is that the Buddhic mind is free of stains and it operates in sunyata, zero. It cannot be bought or it cannot be oppressed. It cannot be bought by fame or it cannot be oppressed by shame. Like, for example, Yeshua, Son of God, he was killed, but he resurrected. The death did not affect him. Even killing someone, killing him and completely killing Yeshua, Son of God, it did not affect him. He just rose again. So that's like the Buddhic mind is free of samsara. It's free of this world because they operate in sunyata. So it's a different operational system of the mind. That's how you can describe Buddhism directly. So in Buddhism, they have this system of knowing all the knowledge, knowing gazillion. Buddhism is all about knowledge. It's like Buddha taught 84,000 sutras, and there's 84,000 scriptures that Buddhists have. That was coming directly from Shakyamuni Buddha, our teacher, our Buddha of this eon. There are 1,000 Buddhas, but for this eon, the Buddha is Shakyamuni. For our generation, Lord Buddha is Shakyamuni because there are 1,000 Buddhas. Other people get other Buddhas. We get Shakyamuni. So he is our teacher and he gave all the teaching to us. So we have to be grateful to Shakyamuni Buddha. So in Buddhism, you have the Pragyaparamita wisdom, which is learning the expanse of knowledge, the 84,000 sutras that the Buddha taught, learning everything about the whole world and learning all the Buddhist scriptures, like this expansive, infinite, almost infinite knowledge that is like the Pragyaparamita, which is the sixth wisdom. And then you have the jhana, which is the 10th, which is the knowledge. So you have the wisdom and the knowledge. So the wisdom is the sixth one, is the sixth paramita. There are 10 paramitas, and wisdom is the sixth paramita, and jhana, knowledge, is the 10th paramita. So you have the wisdom and the knowledge. So in terms of the knowledge, what you have to do is you have to be able to pull everything and describe it in a sentence. Basically, what does it mean? So there's this infinite knowledge, infinite knowledge. You've gathered all this knowledge throughout your time, throughout your studies, but you have to take all that and you have to be able to extract what all of that means. So you can't just know 84,000 scriptures. You actually have to you have to actually be able to condense it and explain all of that in a sentence. So it's like that's a system in Buddhism. So you have the vast expanse and you have to be able to pull it and you have to be able to explain it in a very short thing. So that is a proper known system of Buddhism. So in Buddhism, when they're like, oh, I know all this knowledge and I know all the scriptures, the Buddhist monk will challenge you. They'll be like, Okay, so what's the summary? What did you learn from all of this 84,000 scriptures? What's the summary for that? How can you describe it in a sentence? So the Buddhist monks will actually challenge you in terms of that. So you can't just claim to be knowledgeable. You actually have to have systematically done the correct things to be classified as enlightened, or to be classified as like a monk, or that you know what you're doing. So they will actually test you. So it's a whole systematic thing. So it's not like a random spiritual thing that I can just go in and give my opinions and comments and views, or make commentary on different things. It's not like that. You actually, there's a system, and they will test you based on that system. So when I'm getting trained, I get tested on my part as well. So the Buddha can test me. It's like, what is she doing? What does she think? How much does she know? The Buddha can test me. So if you want to know Buddhism, Buddhism is sunyata. It's not being controlled by negativity or positivity. It's not being controlled by happiness or sadness. It's the sameness. Whether if it's good, you have the same feeling towards it, and whether it's bad, you have the same feeling towards it. So you do not distinguish between the good and the bad. You have a same feeling towards everything, and in that way the demons can't control you. Because if you're like, oh, I feel so sad today, and you're sad, and like tomorrow, oh, I'm so happy, demons will control you. So even if you're happy, just stay in your samadhi, stay in your leveled state. And even if they like harass you and torture you and affect you and bully you, just stay in your samadhi, just stay in your leveled place. So that's how you can overcome the demons, or that's how you can overcome this samsaric world, because samsara is duality. And how do you overcome duality? Is by maintaining that leveledness. That's how you overcome the duality. The good and evil, you maintain your samadhi, you maintain your leveledness. And until you do that, you cannot dissolve everything into sunyata, or samadhi in itself is dissolving everything into sunyata. And then when you dissolve everything into sunyata, you balance your karmic account to zero. And then you can rapture and go to heaven. So when in Buddhism they say sunyata and everything is empty, you actually have to prove what that means. You can't just say everything is empty. You actually have to prove why it's empty. And the why it's empty is because everything is taught as interdependent. So everything is interdependent in Buddhism. It explains to you the mechanics of this world. So everything is interdependent. Interconnectedness means I do not exist on my own. So that's what emptiness means. It means I on my own, I do not exist. I don't have an identity on my own. I only exist because everything around me exists. Because the 5 elements exist, I exist. I'm made of the 5 elements. I exist because I eat the food made and grown by someone else, and sold by someone else, and sourced by someone else. That's why I exist today. So that's what like the interdependence is, and that's like what sunyata is. That's what emptiness means. Emptiness doesn't mean like everything is empty. It doesn't mean that. It means everything does not have its independent identity, because it is dependent on everything around it, including like your breath, the elements, water, fire, food, clothing, knowledge. And you need all of these different prophets to be born to even have the knowledge that we have today. All of these different things have to transpire in the universe for us to even have like knowledge and wisdom and food and all the things that we have. Gazillion things have to transpire for us to be born, and in this very moment. So our singular identity does not exist. So as soon as all of those factors are taken away, we don't exist. If the food gets taken away, we'll die of hunger. If the water gets taken away, we'll die of thirst. If there's no knowledge, we'll die of ignorance and we'll go to hell. So we do not exist on our own. We exist within this interdependent system that is fueled by a gazillion unimaginable factors, unimaginable things. That's why we exist. And